If you're not subscribed to WWE Express yet, you need to hit that subscribe button right now because we're about to break down one of the most shocking backstage developments in recent WWE history. Brock Lesnar, the Beast incarnate, the man who has dominated WWE competition for nearly 2 decades, just got rushed to the hospital after a devastating backstage attack from Femi, and this isn't just about physicality. This is about a seismic shift in WWE's power structure that could reshape everything we thought we knew about where this company is heading. Welcome back to WWE Express, where we analyze the psychology, narrative depth, and pure storytelling genius behind professional wrestling's greatest moments. If you love deep dives into WWE storylines and character development, please make sure you're subscribed because we post content like this multiple times a week. Let's talk about what happened. The reported incident shows Femi, the rising powerhouse who has been systematically dismantling competition on Raw, cornering Brock Lesnar in what was supposed to be a routine backstage segment. But this wasn't routine. This was calculated. This was personal. According to the reports coming out of WWE, Femi didn't just attack Lesnar, he attacked the idea of Lesnar. He attacked the mystique, the invincibility, the decades-long narrative that positioned the Beast incarnate as virtually untouchable. And most importantly, he succeeded in a way that forces us to completely reconsider the direction of WWE's heavyweight division. What makes this angle so fascinating from a storytelling perspective is the timing. Brock Lesnar has spent the last several months operating from a position of calculated menace. He's been the veteran presence, the occasional insider, the man who shows up when the stakes matter most. He's represented a certain era of WWE dominance, a connection to the ruthless aggression era that still resonates with longtime fans. But Femi represents something completely different. He represents the future. He represents raw, unbridled ambition and the kind of physical dominance that comes from a new generation of wrestlers who have studied everyone who came before them and weaponized that knowledge against them. The beauty of this narrative choice is how it positions Femi not as some random challenger, but as a genuine threat to the established order. When you attack someone backstage, when you target them when their guard is down, when you send them to the hospital, you're making a statement that goes beyond standard wrestling psychology. You're saying that you don't respect the precedent. You don't care about reputation. You don't fear experience. You're saying that you're willing to cross lines that others won't, and that's what makes a character genuinely dangerous in the eyes of the audience. Brock Lesnar has built his entire WWE legacy on being that dangerous presence. He's the man who walks into situations with nothing to prove and everything to inflict. To see him on the receiving end of that kind of violence, to see him hospitalized by someone he may have dismissed or underestimated, is a remarkable narrative inversion. It resets the scales. It tells us that in this version of WWE, experience and past accomplishments only get you so far. Eventually, you face someone younger, hungrier, stronger, and willing to do whatever it takes. From a character development standpoint, this is exceptional work from Femi's team. Over the past several months, we've watched him evolve from a dominant physical specimen into a complete package. He's gained in-ring intelligence, he's developed a presence that commands attention, and now he's proven he's willing to take extreme measures to climb the roster. He's no longer just strong. He's a threat. He's not just a competitor. He's a force of nature that management needs to take seriously, and that creates so many narrative opportunities moving forward. The question isn't whether Lesnar survives this attack. We all know the Beast incarnate has faced far worse and come back stronger. The real question is how he responds. Does he come back angrier, more destructive, more focused on eliminating the threat that Femi represents? Or does this attack plant a seed of doubt, a moment where even Lesnar has to acknowledge that the landscape of WWE competition is changing? That's the psychological layer that makes this so compelling. The hospital angle itself is genius because it forces authenticity into the narrative. When a wrestler is hospitalized, WWE's medical team needs to actually communicate about it. Storylines have to account for it. Other wrestlers have to react to it. It transforms a backstage segment from something we watch into something that affects the entire ecosystem of the show. Everyone who appears in subsequent programming has to respond to the reality of what happened. That's world building in professional wrestling. That's how you make fans believe that these wrestlers exist in a coherent reality where actions have consequences. We need to talk about what this means for the broader narrative direction of Raw. For the longest time, the heavyweight division has been largely defined by established names and returning legends. But Femi represents the injection of new blood, new energy, new physical threat level that doesn't come with decades of baggage or established patterns of behavior. He's writing his own story, and he's doing it by eliminating the preconceptions that come with facing veterans. He's not trying to prove he belongs. He's proving he's ready to dominate. This also signals something important about WWE's creative direction heading into major pay-per-view events. If they're willing to hospitalize Brock Lesnar, if they're willing to create this level of physical consequence for established characters, then we should expect an unpredictable period ahead. The old rules aren't just being bent. They might be completely rewritten. That uncertainty is exactly what creates compelling television. For Lesnar himself, this moment could actually be his most interesting positioning in years. He's no longer just the destroyer. He becomes the obstacle someone has to overcome. He becomes the measuring stick that a new generation has to surpass. That's a role that veterans can inhabit beautifully, and if handled correctly, it could make both Lesnar and Femi look incredible in the process. The narrative potential of this angle extends far beyond a single match or feud. This is the kind of moment that changes how fans perceive multiple wrestlers. It elevates Femi to a different tier. It makes Lesnar's presence matter in a different way. And it forces everyone in the heavyweight division to recalibrate their understanding of the competitive landscape. That's sophisticated storytelling, and that's what separates great wrestling angles from forgettable ones. What WWE has done here is create a moment of genuine consequence. In an era where wrestling can sometimes feel predictable, where we know the established paths to the championship and the typical ways storylines resolve themselves, Oba Femi's attack on Brock Lesnar reminds us why we love this business. Because even when you think you understand where things are going, even when you think you know how powerful a wrestler is, wrestling can still surprise you. It can still remind you that there's always someone hungry, someone new, someone willing to rewrite the narrative. This is the kind of storyline development that WWE Express lives to analyze. The psychology, the character work, the way physical consequences feed into narrative momentum. This is wrestling as storytelling at its finest. So if you're enjoying this breakdown, make absolutely sure you're subscribed to WWE Express because we post regular analysis of exactly this kind of content. We dive deep into the narrative mechanics that make WWE tick, and we celebrate the artistry and psychology that goes into creating compelling professional wrestling. Subscribe to WWE Express now, hit that notification bell so you never miss our wrestling analysis, and let us know in the comments what you think about this Oba Femi and Brock Lesnar situation. How do you see this playing out? What's next for these wrestlers? Your thoughts matter to us here at WWE Express, and we read and respond to every comment. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time on WWE Express.